Hey everyone, welcome to this week's video podcast. I'm excited this week to be joined by Ed Cahill of Cahill Cards. And Ed is someone who, I've gotten to know over the last, 3 or 4 months, just casually, through just messaging and commenting on TikTok, to moving over to other platforms, to like taking that big boy step of getting like exchanging phone numbers, and texting, talking on the phone.
First
Right?
phone call is a big moment.
It's a big step, Ed. It's a big step. And then, so I've really watched Ed, grow from concept to implementation in terms of his breaks and kind of what he's been doing. And he's been bouncing ideas off myself and a few others for a while now. And I think that just Ed kind of talking you through has really helped him get going and kind of feel comfortable with what he want to do and what's going to work and what's not going to work. And I know, like, I've been in a few breaks. I only break with about 2 or 3 people. And it's really a special thing to build that relationship, build that trust with a breaker. I mean, you could buy off anybody off of eBay, but it's kind of like that virtual card shop owner,
Right.
build that relationship with. So
exactly.
Yeah, Ed,
and I thank you so much for having me on. It's awesome. What you do for the community is great, and you were one of the first people when I got back into the hobby, like 9-10 months ago, that popped up on my radar, and you were kind of in the same boat as me. I think you had gotten a little bit of a head start on me, and yeah, we became, fast friends. And I think it's just kind of, some of the stuff you were saying, it's so great to have someone in the hobby, especially if you're new and you're isolated and you don't have people around you that are doing it.
Yeah.
In today's world, that there's people all over the world you can talk to. And it's so great to have a sounding board. Like you said, like you can call me up and say, hey, I'm thinking about buying this guy, or, hey, have you looked at Star Stock? Why aren't you looking at Star Stock? That's what you're always, that's what you're telling me before the show. So it's always great to build relationships and have those people that you can, bounce ideas off of, just because, the sports card world is vast and expansive, and you can't really possibly keep up to it by yourself. So you need some people who you can lean on to learn things and to bounce stuff off of.
Right. No, it's so dynamic and so fast. I mean, we truly live in the digital age, and everything is just fast and rapid. I mean, you'll see cards exploding. Like last night with TJ Warren with the Pacers. Guy put, I think, 51 points maybe. I mean, he basically single-handedly almost beat the 76ers. And, you just saw some buzz online about him. And then you start looking into his cards on ComC and Star Stock, where it's like a virtual stock market, if you will. And, you saw the lower price cards just gone, moving, put back into the mix at higher price and then still moving. So it's
such a far removal from when we were kids and like looking through the Beckett's.
Yeah.
And, that came out every month and seeing what your cards were worth. And now, like you said, it's just basically a stock market now. It's a commodities stock market that you have to be continually up on and like continually waive your prices. And especially, because you can have prices set at different points at different platforms that all of a sudden your card may be undervalued by $30 if you weren't paying attention. So there's so much to keep track of. So much.
That hit me on eBay a couple of times when oh my gosh, all of a sudden, Jaren Jackson PSA 10 sold, right? It's like, wow, no one's even maybe an offer on that card. And all of a sudden it just sold for asking price. And you look around, you're like, oh, look at that sales velocity today. Yeah, he must have had a big game I wasn't watching. But like, you literally, I can't watch every
right. There's no way. And you would have been happy with that price the day before. So, sometimes you just take your wins and move on.
That's the hard part.
It's nice. Gets it out of your inventory.
You can't have that seller's remorse, right? I'll talk about that later. But no, like, for example, Luis Robert, right? This is just a general boring base card, boring, right? But yeah, people are chasing it. But there's so many, and you as a breaker have seen, there's so many variations of this card. It's not about the piece. It's the /2020 cards, the /76s, the rainbow foils. And I think that's what people get excited about.
Yeah, and it's crazy with the card like that, where he's basically the card that's holding up an entire product with Top Series 2 2020. It's, if he's not in that product, that box is probably $60 by now, but now it's $130+ box because of basically one player that we know of now. Obviously, people always bring up to me like, well, guys could develop. Yeah, they could, but I compare it back to the 2018 Series 2 with Acuna. Now there was other guys in there with like Glaber and stuff like that, but Acuna is the main draw, and that's why hanger boxes of 2018 Series 2 are like $180. It's crazy. And it really depends on if Robert cards end up being worth $900, $1,200, $1,300. People will pay the premium for that. So it's like where I was kind of down on Series 2, honestly, to me, it depends entirely on Robert. And if he blows up, then I, now where I was leaving Series 2 on retail shelves, now I will probably at least, if I buy a hanger, I'll at least like every time I go to the store, buy a hanger box if it's there, like, and
Grab
just hang on to it.
Right. Grab something. I hear you. No, and there's been a lot of sleeper short prints in that set. I think a lot of the variations. I brought the cards upstairs, but I got the Darryl Strawberry short print, which was really nice.
I saw that somebody gave it to you as a random act of kindness.
It did. Right? It was a little random act
nice.
of kindness. Because I had given them cards off of a TikTok live, and they sent that back to me as a thank you. I thought that was great. I was pretty humbled that day. I got like 3 of them in the mail the same day. I was like, wow,
you're a good guy, man. People send you stuff when you're a good person.
People are good.
Works that way.
But yes, we're talking about Luis Robert, and the return to play. He has 2 home runs already. He's their leadoff hitter now. So that's starting to take shape, right? But then there's other players. Like I think you mentioned to me Alvarez, right?
Yeah, Yordan Alvarez with Houston, who's hurt. He didn't even play in the lead up at all.
Right.
Yeah, like you said, people are chasing the guys, and people are excited. I mean, this card market's like something that people who have been in the, where we're kind of back into this almost seems normal to us, but we really haven't been back in when there's been this, amount of action going on at one time. And so you're starting to see people really focusing on the people that are performing, the people that are playing. And I think some of the guys that are kind of in the cracks are either not playing right now or prospects that didn't make an opening day roster, right. Guys like Jared Klinick and Wander Franco, and then Yordan Alvarez, just because he's injured, is a guy that I'm leaning into, because I mean, you project his stats from his time with Houston last year. I mean, he's going to be a 50, 60 homer guy probably in his sleep, if not more. He's got generational power. So and his cards, I noticed since the season started to ping down. Like I got a lot of BGS 9.5s in him the other day for like probably $70-$60 under value. And so I'm just kind of hopping on stuff like that, as my guy over at Stacking Slabs always say, go left as the market goes right, or I might have it backwards, go right when the market goes left. And that's kind of what I'm leaning into here with baseballs. Instead of kind of chasing the guys that everyone else is chasing, I'm kind of looking in the cracks for people I can find value on that maybe once they get back in the picture, will pop back up. So I'm more of a long-term hold guy. Like I'm not a quick flipper. So I tend to look at guys that, can I get them for cheap? And I think they can, build up over 3-4 years. I'm never really buying anything with the intention to quick flip it. I occasionally, obviously, if I see an opportunity, I might, but I tend to like to focus on players that I think I can, store away for 3-4 years and then make my profit later.
Nice. Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. Like I look at it as a balanced portfolio. I have my quick hits. Like I did some action on TJ Warren last night just to get some quick flips. But a lot of cards I'm like 3 months out, and then some I'm a year, and then some I'll be 3 or 4 year. Like I have those Tiger Woods PSA 10s of that rookie. I paid $60 a piece, and they are $300 now. It's like, oh great,
wow.
I'm 5x my money, but he's a GOAT. He's not going anywhere. Yeah. It's only going to go up.
Right. And there's not a lot of golf product out there. So that's something to think about too. And again, I can have like, sometimes if I think something is a flash in the pan, I mean, I'm not stupid to whereas I'm just going to stubbornly hold, like if something goes up and I think it's artificial and it I usually have like a price point in my head. And if something were to like hit that price point, 3 months after I owned it, I might say, okay, my part ways with it. But generally I'm a holder.
I was gonna use market movers and pull up Alvarez. I want to see what kind of movement there is on his card.
My guess is, I just kind of track the prices in my head. I don't have your fancy tools. I should though. I really probably should. And I'm excited for slab stocks to come out as well and see what they're offering on their free.
Yeah, I am.
My guess it'll go up and up and up until the season starts, and then you'll see a little dip. I think. I bet.
Right. I jumped into market movers. This is my second month with them, just to get a feel for it. Right. Oh, this is hard. How do I? Let me just look at the last. See, I'm still learning here. I don't want to get dead air time here on my.
But, no, that's all good. I mean, and like those tools are, especially if you are looking for short-term flips or even trying to find the right time to buy, which can be the hard part, is trying to figure out the right time to buy. Like A lot of
Right.
people were talking about trying to buy Acuna, after he went like 1 for 15 and his prices went down, which, it's a good tool to be able to look at that.
So here we're seeing like the raw here, so you can see the current prices. The raw card is about $3. The rainbow foil is 27. The SGC 10 is 27.99. PSA 10 is about 60. Yeah, here's a good one. I can't get all of them on one day, but you can kind of
Yeah.
see.
And he's not a super hot player, so you won't
Yeah.
see like the massive rises and dips, and especially since we're going in we were coming out of the off season, kind of going into play where I think a lot of people knew he wasn't going to play to start since he wasn't in those summer games. But yeah, I mean, tools like this are incredibly useful to help you make informed decisions, which I should probably do. I should probably have something like this.
I guess I'm just playing with it and trying to learn as I go.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, when I tell people a lot of times when you get back into the biggest thing you need to do is understand the market before you start making any moves. Because if you don't really understand how the market works, then you can't really make any educated moves at all. So when I first came back in, I just spent a lot of time surfing eBay and not really buying a lot of things, just like understanding what products sell. I mean, that's the tough thing when you got back in. I remember like one of the first cards I bought back in was like a PSA 10 Topps gallery of Ronald Acuna, and I was like, oh, no one cares about this card. Like this isn't the card anybody cares about. And that's understanding the product, which products are like the flagship products that people want for a player, and the fact that those carry more value. That's like something you all have to learn. And then you have to understand how the market ebbs and flows, what the different grades variations should be, and like that's all. Like, so like you said, if you were jumping in, you want to just grab this tool for a month and like dive in, you'd probably pull enough out of that month to kind of last you the rest of the year, just in terms of like market knowledge and education.
Yeah. So someone asked a question live here. Do you guys think it's possible for someone to make a full-time living flipping sports cards without a storefront? In today's market, I would say yes. I mean, you're gonna have multi-channels of business like Twitter, Discord groups, breaks. You could do Instagram lives. I mean, I see people using any and all of them.
I think it's definitely possible. I think you need to have a different twist on it. I mean, if you had the capital to invest, I mean, you're basically just a day trader. It's the same concept, and there's plenty of day traders out there. So it's 100% doable. But is it as the issue with like day trading in stocks? And I told you, Michael, I kind of came from a stock background where I worked a lot of stocks and did a lot of day trading, and so that's why honestly coming to like the sports card market was relatively like an easy transition for me, because the market itself was much more simple, but it's also much less. You're much less educated on the market. Whereas if I want to invest in a stock, there's PDFs upon PDFs of data and analysis that I can go read on that. Whereas with sports, it's really just the baseline stats and like future play is what the influence is. So it's a little bit more volatile and risky, but certainly doable. But I think if you were to mix something in like breaks, I mean, I know multiple breakers that are full-time and have been full-time for years. And they also do a little bit of flipping and everything to supplement on the side. But I mean, there's breakers I know that make, good livings, good livings. It's not an easy work,
sure.
but
You're putting in days probably. You probably have a team behind you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like there's a local Leighton Sports Cards, which are probably the biggest breakers in the world. They're 15 minutes down the street from me. And when I actually was getting into breaking, I called them and I was like, hey, I would love to pay you. I want to come like watch what you do for a night, just to kind of, that'd be awesome. I mean, when I have the biggest breaker down the street from me, I was like, I got to call him and see. And they were like, well, I don't really know how I feel about that, but he did spend about 20 minutes, actually probably an hour on the phone with me, kind of talking about the business. And sorry?
No, I said you got something out of it. That was good.
Yeah, no. And I learned that basically he's got like a 6-person support team, and he was like, we could go around the clock if we had the people, so there's ways to do it. I don't think just sitting in on eBay all day is probably the most viable way. I think you'd want to turn it into something else, but it's definitely 100% doable. You will probably need a decent amount of capital to start it up.
Oh,
so I know we'll talk about breaking and stuff later, and I can talk about, I'll be, me, I'm 100% transparent. So I can talk about all the financials and stuff in terms of what I spent to get into breaking and how all that works.
Yep. No, me too. So just to wrap up here. So the chart does show you that, outside of whatever happened here, somebody got a steal that day for PSA 10 for $40. But other than that, I mean, you see the average, the purple's a PSA 10. It's definitely down from.
Yeah, and it had to be, at the end of last season, he was the next big thing, and then that hype slowly dies over after the long off season and the COVID delay, and then with him not playing, and that should probably continue to go down for a bit. So it's just guys like that I look for value in, and try to find where the market is weak and pick up some good values.
Yeah, no, but just to confirm, my buddy says men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. So there you go.
Nice. But I wasn't wrong. That's good. I wasn't wrong. That's good.
Yeah,
I wasn't wrong about my perceived notion of his price drop. So that's a positive.
No, that's awesome. Good job. So we'll back us off the screen here. Cool. So we're talking about breaking, right, as a full-time job, I guess. But tell me a little bit about what made you want to get into it. How did you kind of get started? Maybe a couple of quick lessons learned. What was your favorite card you pulled? Things like that.
The breaking was really my avenue back into the hobby, because I had read I don't remember what I should go back and look for it, but I basically read an article of a guy who hadn't been in sports cards for a long time, and he heard about these breaks, and he joined one. He did like a whole write-up on his experience and how much fun it was, and I was like, oh, this sounds pretty cool. So I was just kind of like bored on a weekend once, and I was like, I didn't really know how to do it or how it worked. I just kind of typed it on YouTube, found someone that was live, went to their website, bought a spot. And I think I actually skunked. Like, I didn't get a single card. I picked like the Cowboys in a contenders break or something, and I just didn't get like a single card. And the guy was like apologizing. He was like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, your first time, you got no cards. And like, I actually did pretty bad for like my first few, but I just kind of kept trucking. I thought it was fun. And really, I was like, well, this is great. And I started to get those cards in. Then I started to kind of look at different hobby boxes and retail. And that's kind of what sparked me getting back into the hobby. And breaking is something I've continued to do, really just as, to me, it's my entertainment. It's entertainment in its community. So, I have a breaker I break with, and I've broken with him for about the past year. And, I get on a Friday night, and he's usually going until 4 a.m. So after the wife goes to bed, I'll get in, look at some spots, either that or I've bought some spots earlier in the week, gives me something to look forward to. And I get on a break. And then I was like, I think I could probably do this myself. It seems fun. Really wanted just to kind of do it one night a week. I wasn't exactly trying to make it a full-time job. So, but I was like, to do this, I can't just, and I see it a lot, because if you're on Twitter, if you're on Instagram, you see people trying to do breaks like constantly. People are in your inbox asking. And I was like, I don't really want to do it that way. So I was like, let me just start by making content and doing like reviews and building up a channel and try to build at least a small following. And then try to see if those people will do some breaks with me. And so that was kind of how I got into it. And then really, I tried to take as many like official steps as I could. I did a whole YouTube video on it that I go into like 45 minutes of detail in terms of like all the process I took. But I started a business. I got a resale license with my state. I got in touch with a distributor, that's probably the biggest thing. Is a lot of people now see all these cards I have, and they're like, oh, he's got a distributor, he gets all these for like super cheap. It's not really the case, because distributors, so if you're watching a breaker, they likely have a distributor, and they're pre-buying, they're buying these cards at pre-sale, and they're getting good prices on them. Like, they're probably getting 20-30% off what you'll see it come to as retail. But they're pulling in so much of the product. So our local card stores, or anyone that's selling cards are buying basically all the product from all the distributors that exist. So even though I have a distributor, I have zero allocation. So like, for just transparency, I have $10,000 worth of pre-orders in right now for products that are 3-4 months down the line. I'll probably get $0 of that allocation, because I don't have enough business. So what I have to do to build business, I have to buy what's called restocks. So, for instance, I know you're talking about Panini baseball quick pitch. Like, basically the only option I've had is to buy quick pitch for the last 2 weeks at like $88 a box, which I think it retails for like $95. So I get like $7 off. It's just not like a big deal. I have gotten some fairly, there's occasional like a good deal that pops in there, but it's also going out to their entire database. So I have like email alerts set for when I get an email from my distributor. So I see it, I can pop in and be like, hey, I want that box of Mosaic. I want that box of Chronicles Draft. But I still buy probably 70% of my product from third-party distributors to break. So my margins are super low, really not making enough money to make it a full-time gig at all at this point. But you have to kind of start somewhere. And if you have the expectations to break like 5 nights a week, with a ton of product, it's tough. And it's a massive financial investment to start because you're buying thousands and thousands of dollars of cards and you're going to hope that you're going to fill those breaks. And I've been lucky enough to sell at every one of my breaks that we've done so far, except for Don Russ Elite, which is breaking Tuesday and only has 28 boxes. So if you'd like to break, cahillcards.com, let's fill it up and go. But it's a lot of risk reward. For instance, I am not break even yet, even after a months of breaks in terms of what I invested, and your investment is continual because you're continuing to have to buy a new product that sits until you break it. And, you want to get ahead. So it's tough. It's stressful. My free time has disappeared completely, just zero free time between work and having a kid. And then I break on Tuesday, and then I basically work on packaging and sorting and shipping those breaks. Probably the earliest I get it done is on Friday, but I'm going to finish this and go stick labels on packages, for an hour and a half. So it really will consume your life, and it's difficult, but it's a lot of fun, and it's really all worth that 3-4 hours on stream on Tuesday, because you build a little family, and it's just a fun time to interact. And I love pulling big cards for people. Pulled my first one-on-one this past week. And, I was a one-on-one gold vinyl Chase Young at a Chronicles draft. And it's just those moments are things you'll remember forever. And it's fun to pull that card for yourself. Yeah, there it is. Gorgeous card. And it's fun to pull those for yourself, but I actually find tremendous joy pulling it for other people. And you have more opportunities to pull cards like that because, that came out of my second box of Chronicles draft picks, which if I had bought a box for myself, I probably just bought one and been done with it. So the more you open, the more you get to kind of give to other people. And then the week prior, we hit a Zion disco parallel for a first time breaker. And that just feels so good. I just I get really excited for the people. So you kind of live vicariously through them. Yeah, that one. It's actually got a pretty bad print line on it. I tried to work with him to see if I could clean it up, and he's taking it to a card doctor. But yeah, it's so much fun to be able to pull stuff like that for people. On the other hand, it's also sometimes really sad if someone pays $100 for a spot and hits nothing. And so I actually dip into my personal collection all the time for people. If someone pays $100 and hits nothing, I'll literally find an auto in my collection and drop it. Or I keep a box. I did a TikTok on this other day, but I keep a box of some kind of hobby sitting by my desk when I'm sorting. And, if someone has a rough break, I throw in a couple packs just to kind of ease the pain because, it goes the other way too. So, I just want people to have a good time. And that always means so much to me too. If my breaker, I have a rough break and it might be one pack of opening day, but I've actually sent you a Pete Alonso, the blue Pete Alonso from opening day. That was out of a pack a breaker gave me. So it's just it's not all lost. Sometimes I've hit a patch auto in a pack a breaker gave me before, a hoops pack. So it's just just those little things make a difference. And but yeah, it's been a great journey. It's been a lot of long, hard work, but we get to meet people like you. I didn't meet you, especially through the breaks, and we met before I started doing breaks, but the amount of people I've met during during live streams and stuff is just is priceless, and it's worth it. And it's my way to kind of contribute to the hobby. Is kind of how I see it.
Perfect. No, it's fun. The chat room of your breaks is almost like a little hangout party at the bar.
Yeah, someone said they felt like it was a secret meeting. Someone felt like it was their secret meeting they go to every Tuesday night. So it was yeah, it's fun. My wife's always in the chat. My wife stays up late and watches it, and she has such a good time. And it really pulls. Breaking to me is just such a unique thing, and it's something that Gary Vee did a whole video on it. I was hey, this is such a genius idea. I watch breaks I'm not in. I do the same thing. Especially breaks that let you kind of for instance, on my breaks, even if you're not breaking, there's still ways you can win. I do the player guess to start each break. So if you get the first player off the first pack, you get $20 credit. And that's it kind of keeps you engaged. So it's even if you're not in, even if you don't have any cards to stake, you can kind of come play the game and try to get some money to play with.
It's fun. Like I said, it's and you don't root against somebody. It's not oh, I didn't get the Pelicans. So I really hope he doesn't pull a Zion. No one does something like that.
That's the thing with breaks too, is sometimes, yeah, you might not get the Pelicans, but then, you might get one of the team that you pulled. It's just, a guy in my break last week, he bought 2 spots in a random team's break, and he hit the Grizzlies and the Pelicans and basically pulled nothing. We pulled an auto for the Raptors. So it just, it's luck. It's a game of chance. You can definitely be educated in terms of like how you approach breaks. I mean, I certainly do in terms of teams, especially pick your teams. You might see a team that you think's undervalued. For instance, last year I saw I was on a Breakers website and I saw the Jags with Gardner Minshew were like criminally undervalued. And I literally bought the Jags for like $12 in like 18 breaks. And I have like an entire box of Gardner Minshew that's definitely paid for. But it's like noticing things like that. And it's really about just like going to the checklist. Like you got to go to the checklist before you buy your break spot and understand like what a team has. Like if you're going to buy a break, you can buy a team.
Do. Like I tried doing that for the Luminance breaks. And I really want to buy the Giants, right? Because they're my like homer pick. And there was nothing great. There actually is a Lawrence Taylor auto in there that I was like, oh, that would be like great. It's so off the radar. And
there's teams like that, like teams that might be undervalued. You might not think, oh, this team doesn't have any current players, but there might. Like I used to buy a lot of Colorado Rockies and National Treasure baseball because while they had like Arenado and Blackman and stuff, but they're usually pretty cheap. But they had a ton of different legend autos with like Dante Bichette and guys like that. So there was always just go if like you're gonna go to break, just type in the name. If you don't know how to look up a checklist, just type in the name of the product on Google. And then checklist at the end of it. And then if you're going to look to buy a team, just do a search on that page for your team and then click through and it'll basically show you all the different players. And like checklists are so important. Like the amount of time I spend in checklists is just crazy. Whether I'm buying a product for myself or for a break or whether I'm like, that's one thing people don't tell you, like pricing a pick your team break is like such a massive ordeal. It takes me forever because I really have to go through the checklist, have to weigh it. You have to hit an end price, and it's just like the checklists are, so important in terms of figuring out what you're looking for and how you go about finding it.
He did have my local card shop had these for $1.99. I thought that was a decent price.
That's about where they've settled. Luminance is I love the Luminance product. It's just there's not a ton of it's a very deep product, and so there's not a lot of massive hits in there. Your chance to pull a massive hit is pretty low, but we've pulled some good stuff out of the ones that we've done.
Yep. Yeah, so you can see
pull a Burrow though. That's sad.
What's that? You didn't get the
I
Burrow
haven't pulled
yet?
a Burrow of any like importance. No numbered or anything like that. We pulled a couple numbered 2s in a few breaks, but Burrow has eluded me, which that means he's coming.
That's right. I mean, so we got some comments here. Tim Stephenson says, "Hey guys, he's seen it happen. Ed makes sure he takes care of his people. So hat tip to you, Ed." From Tim, Ziggy No, who I engage with a lot on TikTok, and he's got a daily like sports cars dailies podcast.
His YouTube's really good too. He does a lot of good content on there.
It is really good. So if you want to give some love, Ziggy No, drop him some subscribes from here. If you want to like up this video too, give it some likes. And definitely Ziggy's enjoying this conversation. He says he appreciates that we talk about how we met. And that's
good. That's great. Again, it's just so important. Like you and I, we kind of have like the same group. We've got like a little squad, and it's just it means so much, and like you build your relationships and friendships, and it's just that's what the hobby's about. And I wish that we were talking on our stream. I don't know what'll happen, but I'm excited to go to my first national, and that would have been happening this past week. Had things stayed normal, which I definitely probably would have gone out for. But now it's kind of up in the air. But I'm really like excited for that first time that like we all get to come together, and that's like what I'm really looking forward to. And hopefully, I don't know how I feel about doing the national this year or what that's going to look like, but I'm going to keep an eye on it.
If things don't get better soon, it's not. And there's a lot of things in our country going on prior to that need to kind of flesh out as well. So we'll see. But no,
that's going to be such an exciting time. Like getting dinner with you for the first time is going to be fun.
Oh, it's going to be great. You don't want to see me eat. It's not pretty.
Yeah, I can put it down too. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm trying to connect with Rich, the Happy Collector, to play golf, and just like, hey, what are you doing this week? Oh, I'm tied up this week. I had some things I got to take care of in the house, or I can't. So we've been trying to schedule golf since like June. Like he has a few cards that he's holding for me. I have a few cards holding for him.
I didn't know you guys live so close, to be honest.
Like an hour 10 apart. It's not too bad. It's definitely worth it to go play golf, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Find
a place in the middle.
Ziggy has a tip for the listeners and viewers. If you're in a break and you see a card you want, offer to buy it directly from the winner. Have the breaker hold it and ship it directly to you. You get better cards, and seller gets cash. So yeah, I mean, I've done that too. I've tried it. I was unsuccessful once. I pulled a trade once. I got an
Yeah, it happens a lot. I mean, I get a lot of backdoor stuff in my inbox of, hey, I'm sending this card to so and so. I don't mind doing it at all. But I just ask people to send me an email because, like, in the heat of the break, I'll try to write it on a note card and stick it in the stack. But yeah, I think it's a great way to do it. You'll generally get a good price right away. Yeah. I bought cards from the people I broke the cards for. Like, I did a story. I bought this card from Greg Plays Games. It was like one of my favorite cards. It's Alberto Mondesi Cracked Ice. It was just like one of the favorite cards out of the first break. And I messaged him. I was like, hey, I'll give you $45 for it. He was like, all right. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I do that too. Like if I see cards, like I told you before we started the show, I pulled a Herbert auto out of Chronicles, and the guy was like, oh yeah, it's a $150 card. I was like, I'll pay you $175 for it right now. And he's like, no, I want to hold it. I want to hold it. Yeah. Which I think is smart. But yeah, it's fun because of that.
Siggy also pointed out the last thing is that, you know, there becomes trust among people, right? So forget your eBay, leave your eBay rating at the door. You know, there's trust in the group. He could trust me because I trust you, yada, yada. Like there's definitely degrees of separation, so to speak. And just you can see it in people's actions versus their words, right? That's what we always say. At least I always say.
It's less cutthroat, I think, if I have a card that I know is from a friend's personal collection, like I'm not going to go on eBay and price it out. I'm just going to say, hey, let's do $20 because I know next time you hit a card that I want, you're going to make me a good deal on it. So it's just, it becomes less cutthroat. It's more like trading with your friends when you were a kid, right? You pull out your cards and you're like, hey, I got these 3 Jeff Bagwells. Can I trade them for your David Justice? That kind of thing. That's kind of how it went back then. If you find the right group of honest people, it can still be like that, which is really, it's easy to get caught up and stressed out in like the eBay rat race and those prices and negotiations and the offers. And it's like, it's so much less stress. Like I would rather deal a card for $10 less to a person that I know will enjoy it than, just flinging it out on eBay and paying all the fees and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, talking about trust, I sent you 20 cards earlier this month.
Yep. Yeah, they're right there.
Group club here. So, we could talk about that experience, right? Is that you just came up with the idea of, hey, I'm going to send some cards in a PSA. Let me crowdsource my bulk submission. And you found 3 or 4 people to send you 20 cards. And, I documented it, I printed it out, sent it down to you. And
I think it's, I used to pitch a lot, doing the guys like clay cards and stuff like that, which I still think is great if you have like 2 or 3, but I was getting enough to like I was building up a stack of like 50 or 60 cards that I was going to send out to one of those guys. And then I thought to myself, I was like, well, it's like I've got enough friends in the hobby now that I could literally just put out a ask. And we did it with 2 people. It's actually only 2 people that ended up sending cards. There's you and my buddy Jonathan from Game 7 Card Co in Atlanta. So we hit 100 with just 3 people. And then, that way we don't have to, neither of us have to pay any fees. The only thing extra you're going to pay is shipping back. If you were to do it yourself, you'll save money.
Anyway,
but it's just makes it easier for me and it makes it easier for you guys. And we can just all save money together. And that's great. And then like, I'll have to sign up, like I'm going to sign up for like a pro account anyways. And so I'll still get my like 10 free submissions for the year, which I'll use on separate stuff. So it's like, I'm going to do it. Like, I don't want to do, it's a lot of work. I mean, you see those guys that do those group subs, there's nothing I want to like do on a regular basis, but among friends, like I'm happy to do it because it's, what's an extra 50 cards if you're already putting 50 in. And I told you guys too, like I'm going to look through them and like do a quick pre-grade of all my stuff. So I'm just going to do them for you guys too, just to flag them just in case. And I think it's just such a viable option if you're looking to grade. Like I wouldn't be if there's things you're in a rush to do, sure, send them out or do a 20-day with a group submission. But go over some of the stuff that you sent.
Yeah, I mean, I got a $35 Christian Pulisic rookie from Panini Revolution that I pulled out of a Walmart.com $10 box.
I love that story, by the way. That's a good story.
Yeah, I bought 5 of these on Walmart.com and I ripped them all open. I actually held them a couple months, and but I got 2 Cristiano Ronaldos, a Pulisic, a Suarez, a Neymar, Junior Vortex, and a Ronaldo Vortex. So, those are all $7 to $10 cards outside of the Pulisic. That's a $30 card. But I think, as soccer booms, they're just Revolution is such a cool card. I think they're undervalued a little bit. They're not,
same.
But they're just a nice looking card. What else do I have in here? Weston McKennie is an up and coming U.S. player. So if you're looking for U.S. players to follow, Weston McKennie is a good one, and that's a Panini Optic rookie card, right? I got the Bo Bichette Bowman. That's Bo Bichette Bowman. I can't say that.
Bo Bichette Bowman.
Mojo Refractor, right? So I figured I'd send that. That's a cool one. The Christian Pulisic Prism, this year's Prism, his first Chelsea card. Sekou Red Wave Prism. The Luis Robert, which I just pulled my second one. Sent that one.
Going to be that comes back BSA 10. That'll be a pretty card for you.
That'll be nice.
And this is something we know, like when we're doing this too. And I think you made some smart picks here, is because we talk all the time, like we're not going to get this back till Christmas or January probably.
Yeah.
And it's like when you do stuff like this, it's cards you either probably. Again, you're not looking to quick flip because we're not going to get these back for a while. And I think that's why you're smart to do soccer, because soccer is just going like this. So by the time you get them, you'll actually probably have made money instead of getting them next week and then flipping them, because it'll have forced you to hold on to them a little longer.
Right.
Same thing with I sent in some John Morant's like pre-pandemic, and it got held up. Obviously the backlog of PSA, and then COVID shut PSA down for a while. So I can get those cards back for like 6 months, but it probably actually made me like, $1,000 worth of money because of that. So, you can put the comments up on the screen.
I know. Cool. I just realized it. Sorry. I picked the nice one. I said, I want to see
technology. This is cool. StreamYard. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, I use StreamYard. You can tell by a little duck in the top right. And it's interactive live. You can put people's comments up here. I'll put another compliment to you.
That's cool. And, I like that.
Yeah, I didn't even realize you could do that on here. And this is free. I don't pay for this.
Right. They just you just have to have the bug. How am I?
Yeah, I got the little what you call it? Yeah. But it's a duck. It's not a bug.
I mean, in like video terms, we call that like a bug, like up in the corner. Yeah. Sorry, I'm a nerd.
No. So now Beasting Card just asked, do we do group subs?
Group subs. Well, I've done it before. We've both done them before. But like, I don't know if he's asking if I do subs personally, but no, I don't plan on doing that. Not at all. I've got too much going on, and it's a lot to manage. And I only would really want to manage like close friends cards, to be honest.
Sure.
One thing I might look into in the future is doing it for my breaks. Like if you hit a card that you want to group sub and hold, then I'll hold it for you. But even then, it's just like we talked about earlier. I don't ever feel good. Like I've got a 1-of-1 Chase Young behind me that's worth $1,000. I'm like just itching to get that into the post because I just don't want it in my house.
Yeah.
So it can be stressful having other people's cards. And like I have like the cards you sent locked up in a safe, and the cards my buddy Jonathan sent locked up in a safe. So it's just like it kind of stresses me out a bit, and breaks already enough to manage. So I think I'm going to stick to that for now.
Kind of just said it out loud, but so like if you want to, if somebody breaks a card, they want to get graded. Yeah, there's no expectation of SLA, but you can vault it until you're ready to do your next break.
Right. And I've had a couple people ask me that already.
It's not a bad idea.
I just, it's something I don't necessarily want to do right now, but I think there's not a lot of, I don't think there's a single breaker out there offering that service. So if it's something where if I feel like I have the time, or, if this were ever to turn into something full-time, which to be honest, I don't see that happening in the near future, then that's maybe something I'd look to add if I had like somebody helping me. But right now it's just me and my wife helping me ship. So I probably can't manage all of that and do it the way I'd want to do it. So, but it's a good idea.
So next question was, how do these guys do this? Do they get a big enough discount? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
I mean, if you go to KK Sports Cards and you look at his Instagram stories and you look at he's got to be sending in 10,000 cards a month. I mean, it's just, I don't even know how.
Right.
And he's got a team behind him.
And there's the margins. I've tried to look at it and try to think of in terms of, I don't know the exact number of cards they're pulling. I don't think it's enough for it to be a full-time thing, for those guys. I'm not sure. I mean, maybe you're charging extra.
Clay cards
two
does
to
full.
3,000 a month, maybe, which is good. But then you got to think, there's a lot of logistics. I guarantee those guys are spending their entire nights every night of the week managing that. So it's like, it's a turnoff. Like, you could probably also go work a second job and make that same money. So,
Yeah, I don't know how they do it. I mean, I'm sure they do, and I'm sure they don't want to give you a full explanation how they do it. It's definitely some
right.
competitive
I'm the other
advantage.
way around, though. If you ever want to know I will literally show you my QuickBooks if you ever want to on breaking. It's not pretty.
No,
But I'm the other way. I always be totally honest.
If you profit 50 cents every bulk submission, and you're submitting a couple thousand cards a month, I mean, you're making some change there.
I'm sure they're doing I'm sure they're profiting like $3 to $4 per card.
Yeah,
maybe my guess.
That's
like, I wouldn't do the work for anything less than that.
When you're sending him Zions and stuff, those aren't going bulk. Those are going 20-day, 5-day. He does 5-day every Wednesday at $70 bucks. It's crazy. No, hey, I mean, I don't question it, right? As long as and I've sent one submission, and now you're my third person, so I have 3 people I've sent one submission to, right? So it isn't a race, and I, of course, I've gotten better at looking at the cards. I've got where's my scope? It's probably upstairs, but I have my little jeweler thing with the light. I have my centering tool.
I just got my centering tool in the other day, getting ready to look through all of our cards. So.
There's an app for everything.
I know, you showed me. The app's really cool. That app's really cool. I think that's the most important thing is, and I think I've learned, and luckily everything I've sent in has actually been a 10. So I've gotten really extremely lucky. But when I've never sent as much as we're about to, so I'm sure there's things I've missed. But for instance, like, I bought 20 Bo Bichette living set cards. And when I actually went through those, actually, no, the Bo Bichettes were okay. It was, I bought a bunch of, who's that guy we both bought, who I'm blanking on, the soccer guy from Bayern?
Oh, Havertz.
No, I bought Havertz as well, but it was the kid from Canada.
Sancho?
Why am I blanking on his name? No, I'm blanking on his name. He used to play for the Whitecaps. Blanking on his name, but I bought about 20 of those cards, and probably only 3 after I went through I thought were submittable. So it was like, sometimes you have to have that hard conversation with yourself as you look through a card and be like, this is, to me, if I don't think it's a 10, I won't send it, because I'm sure there's going to be cards I think are 10 that come back 9s.
Right.
But if I think a card's a 9, it could come back an 8, and it's definitely not getting a 10.
I've been going through, because I'm trying to do a 20-day submission with KK also, and I'm going through and I'm like, I look at this card going, no, I gotta look at it again, and it's like it drives you crazy. So speaking of 9s, I was gonna wrap up by saying that
what a transition.
So, I collect Pete Alonso's, right? And you just started a Tony Romo collection, and you're collecting the 9 out of X card.
Right.
Of each, right, because that's his jersey number. So
right. Yeah. It was
this is it's very interesting. It's a different take on collecting.
I had been kind of like flirting with personal collection for a while. Like, I haven't really been able to find like a groove on a PC since I got back in the hobby, and I was kind of like just blanket Cowboys. I used to work for the Cowboys, so it was kind of like I have that connection there. And Alphonso Davies, there you go. Cam, that's my man Cam. I just packed up a bunch of your cards the other night. You got a big stack this week. But yeah, I was trying to get in like a flow for my PC, and I was like, it's just too broad. And originally I was like, I'm just gonna do Tony Romo, and then like Romo cards are just like so expensive. And so I was like, all right, how can I specify this? And I was like, all right, I'd actually thought a while back about doing just a straight jersey number PC, like jersey number, serial number PC of just anybody. But then I was like, I could just do that for Romo. And so yeah, I look for anything that's serial number 9, whether like, this one is 9 out of 79. This one's 9 out of
closer.
Huh?
There you go, closer.
Yeah, sorry. This one is it's hard because of the light.
Clear?
Yeah, it's clear. It's a cool one. So you find a lot of cool products, because like normally it's like if I had a Tony Romo PC, I wouldn't be looking for like his Donruss press proof. But because I'm basically I'm gonna buy anything that has a 9 on it. And then you get these like really like old school football heroes out of like 2009 Upper Deck. So it kind of exposes you to some cool stuff. Like, this is the most expensive one I bought, which was a National Treasure auto with the patch. And it was cool because it's a timeline card, and it was for a game I remember. And it's just a fun twist on a PC. I think, PCs like that can be fun. I think since I started that, a couple other people have been encouraged to maybe do something similar. And it's just a fun search. I mean, I spent 2 hours on ComC the other night because there's 1,200 serial numbered Tony Romo cards, but there's no way to search for a specific serial number on ComC. So I was literally clicking through into every card to see the serial number, and I actually found 0. So, for instance, I just go on eBay and I type Tony Romo 9/ and then leave it, or I type in Tony Romo jersey number, and that's how I found. I'm at 10 right now, so it's just been it's just a little bit different because if I just had like a blanket Tony Romo PC, I'd probably buy way too much, and this kind of like artificially limits me. But obviously, the number 9 cards for like the really nice ones are more expensive because jersey number cards are more expensive. So somebody in our Discord today sent me his rookie card, jersey number 9, for $14,000.
I saw that.
And I was like, yeah, maybe not. But it's a fun twist, and it's just a fun way for me to relax and get on eBay and see what I can find. But I'm sure most of the ones I bought had been sitting for years because who's buying, a Tony Romo jumbo materials from 2017. But it's nice to sweep in and help those people out, get rid of those cards. So yeah, it's been fun. And your Alonso PC is getting pretty big, right?
It is. It's probably up to like 40 cards at this point. I mean, a lot of them, some of them are like, very low key $1, $2 cards. I have a couple graded cards of him also. The one I just picked up today was an Optic Chronicles. Oh no, it was a Contenders.
Contenders, yeah.
And it was
a nice card. Yeah, show me that.
It's kind of like shame on me. I was in a hurry today. I had to go pick up my daughter from my in-laws. It's an Optic Contenders. It's really nice. It's at a $2.99. It's very shiny. And it's got that, ticket look to it, the season ticket.
Yeah, that's a good look on Contenders.
The back,
but that's the cool thing of like, even though it has a ding, like, and that's where like I'm so anal and I get so stressed out about that on everything else. But like, I really have no intention of selling these, but I still do. Like, I try to take really good care of them. Like, yeah, some of them come not in great condition, but what I'll do is I take them out, I'll wipe down the card, and then I put it in a new top loader, and then I actually have these. These are all in like little perfect fit cases, perfect fit sleeves. So that way it keeps dust out. I get them from, if you Google Superior Fit, they have them for top loaders. And it's like hard to see that it's in one, but it's literally in like a removable, like it's like a removable flap, and it fits perfectly in there to where it's almost seamless. Like you couldn't tell. So I try to just I try to bag them up and like make sure they're good to go. So they're good and they're like in the best condition they can be, but really it's just for me to flip through, and I don't really have any intention of grading any or anything like that. So that's a nice change up for me to where I'm normally super stressed about that stuff all the time. For this stuff, I can just kind of, keep them on my desk, flip through them, enjoy it. And it's just really like, to me, one of the purest things that I'm doing right now, which I'm really enjoying.
Nice. I love it. So you're talking about somebody in the Discord group. Tell me a little bit more about someone in the Discord group sent you a link to a potential card for your collection that was 14,000. But tell me a little bit more about the Discord group. Like, how does it supplement and strengthen, the breaks you do, your website, your content?
Yeah, it's there's a lot of card Discords out there, and they all do their own thing. And I've actually been fighting to keep mine relatively small because. I've noticed when Discords get really large, sometimes they're unwieldy, and I feel like we just have a really good small group, and it's just a way to keep talking with everybody. And that's originally why I started, because I just like, posting videos and content, like you can talk in the comments, but you can't really have like a full-fledged conversation. And that's why I started, because I want to be able to talk to people more and on a more consistent basis. Like I wanted to pop up a card that I saw on eBay and ask opinions to a large group of people. Or, I wanted to alert my friends and people that follow me of a deal I saw on eBay or a product that was dropping, or, hey, heads up, I saw this is dropping in retail on Friday. And so that's why I started the Discord. I don't know the best way to find it. If you want to get in, probably just go to one of my YouTube videos. There's generally a link in every one of my videos if you want to get in, but it's a good group. We have like, it's just like, if you haven't been on Discord, it's basically just a chat application. Really nothing more than that. It started in gaming and originated in gaming and has kind of gone everywhere since, just because it's really well designed and there's a lot of things you can do on a per channel basis to kind of customize. Like I've got ours up right now. We have like a baseball, basketball, football channel. We have a investing channel. We have a channel for gaming because we play video games together, and we have buying, sell, trades, razzes, breaks, like all these different channels. And it's just a great way to kind of interact with people and keep the conversation going on a daily basis. And that just helps you with your knowledge and your perspective on everything.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm finding it a fairly decent, semi-trusted way to buy cards too, or sell cards. I went into Rich's Discord today, and I'm like, I went into the in search of chat channel.
Right.
I'm like, hey, what are you guys looking for today? Like, if I can help you, I will. I'm sending out a bunch of cards tonight. I can send yours out too. Like, drop a comment, let me know what you're looking for. And they like 5 people put in things. I'm like, oh God, careful what you ask for. So I went through all my cards, and like I found like some Kobe Whites, and I found some Shies and some other ones, and somebody wanted Donovan Mitchell's, and I didn't have anything raw of his. I have a couple of the more recent stuff, but I have a green My House, the Prism My House by Prism.
Nice. Yep.
And it's at a 149, and it's a $15 card. So I took that with 3 other cards and I said, here's a lot for 18, plus shipping. And then he wanted rookie cards. So the only rookie cards I had of him were graded cards. So I had a Panini Father's Day and a Prestige. And I'm like, okay, this one's 60, this one's 90, whatever. And he's like, oh, that's too expensive for me. So I'm like, all right, no problem. Like, I was trying to help you. I didn't ask for a budget, but it was fun. And then I had someone else who wanted the Donovan Mitchell's, but he wanted them for like $12. And I'm like, listen, I can do like 16, 17 shipped. I can't do 12 shipped. Like, I'm not going to give the card away. It's a numbered card. It's a nice card. The guys, heart of the season right now. I don't want to make too silly a decision. I mean, but
yeah, that's why it's like, there's a lot of Discords that have, like, in Rich's Discord, it's much bigger than mine at this point too. And you get a lot of people in there. And it's, to be honest, if you want to get more eyes on something you're selling, like if you're selling something like really hot, like I'd take it to like a big Discord. But like the smaller group you can get on things like that, the more willing, like generally we're going to make a deal, and like someone knows you and they don't want to rip you off. They're going to make you a deal for at least close to market price. So I think you can kind of get both worlds there. Like if you want to move cards, there's Discords with like thousands of people in it. Like I'm in the Card Club Discord, which is one of the bigger Discords.
And there's Facebook groups too. There's Facebook groups that do that too.
Yeah, and there's 131 people online in the Card Club, and there's like 916 offline. So, compared to mine, which I think is we have like 135 total. So there's just varying degrees of what you can do there. But Discord's a great tool, and it's just a community builder is what it is the biggest part.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're almost coming up on an hour. It seems like time flies when you're having fun. But there's a segment I do with everybody that I speak with, and I call it Back Into Cards and Back Out of Cards. So we'll each pick 1 or 2 cards that we're kind of into this week or this time frame or recently, and what are you out of? What are you avoiding? What are you just kind of staying away from? And that. So like back into cards from myself is I'm getting more into wax, right? So I've been fortunate enough, and the Discords help, getting some wax. So I have like some Prestige blasters, right? I've got like the Panini Prism mega boxes. I got the Chronicles, 60 card megas. So I'm just kind of holding them. Right? I don't really want to open them, but if people want them, like I'll kind of rip and ship. It gives some great content. It's fun. At least I get to see the cards that I'm giving the person, and then it's actually easier to ship once they're ripped. But I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do more Instagram live stuff. So I'm a little more into like wax as an investment right now.
Right. I think that's we talked a bit about that pre-show, and I'm kind of in the same mode right now. And I think it's because I found a platform where I get some deals, which we talked about prior to the show, which was StockX. And StockX sells sealed wax, and it's they do a great job. If you don't understand how StockX works, it basically was originally a shoe reselling website, which has now moved into trading cards. And what basically happens, it's similar to something like Star Stock, where a buyer sets their buy, a seller sets their sell, and then you basically have to find a way to meet in the middle, or you can just go buy. If I'm going in, I can go buy at the buyer who has the lowest price, or I can sell at the person who wants. I'm doing a bad job explaining this, but basically it's like it's a place you meet in the middle. There's no bidding, and I found that wax on there is criminally underpriced occasionally, especially when prices go up. So I bought a lot of basketball wax on there for probably 30% less than what it should be, just because I'm watching the market and I understand what the market is. And if I wanted to, I could just turn and flip on eBay. But I'm hanging on to a lot of wax with you. Kind of already talked about Jordan, which is a guy I'm leaning into. But in terms of a product I'm leaning into, and I'm kind of leading the charge on this with a couple people, it's Select across the board. Whether that be Select out of the most recent draft picks or even Select baseball, which I think is criminally undervalued, but especially Select football and basketball. I think, while Prism is kind of the mainstay because Prism is a cheaper product, yes, Select is more expensive. It's a harder chase. But when you compare like the Prism values of a card to a Select value of a card, it doesn't accurately reflect the price difference. So the Selects currently are a really good deal. So basically, if I'm looking to buy a player long term, I'm looking to buy their Select card. Say for baseball. I mean, baseball with a non-license is more of a quicker flip game. But if I'm looking to buy a basketball or a football card long term now, I'm looking to buy their Select rookie or Select parallels or Select autos rather than a Prism or a Prism or a Donruss. So that's kind of where I'm leaning into more Select. Like, yes, it's more premium. You're going to pay a little bit more, but I think Select will come up as like the main card. I think could eventually overtake Prism as like the card to collect from a player.
Here's a card I actually bought on Twitter from somebody. Let me bring it up on the screen share here. Oh gosh, like eBay's got to do a better job of this. Okay, there it is. All right, so Trae Young, I paid $200 PayPal, friends and family, and again, super nice card.
Right, Trae this Young is like a combination of two things we were talking about, which is a guy that's not playing right now. And so his prices are, his prices were actually jumping up pretty good before the tournament, but my guess is that they're down a little bit right now. And then, leaning into Select, I think is so smart. I mean, at that price, I think that card's easily a $600 card next year when they go back to play.
Yeah. So this is not the one I bought, but that is the card I bought.
Right.
And what else did I buy? Oh, I bought I saw Heroes for Sale was selling one. And then I tried to go hunting for a better price, and I was definitely below. But it's the Select Jason Tatum PSA 10. It's going to be a horrible search, by the way. Let me put in 2017. Oh, gosh.
Oh, I want that zebra. I was hoping I was buying now. I have to go look for that zebra, though. That's going to be an expensive card. What?
Didn't you pull a zebra?
I have not pulled a zebra or a tiger out of anything yet, unfortunately.
But anyway, this is the card that I was trying to go after. I think he had it for like $380. And I was trying to get it for like $200. I was trying to lowball, and then same thing. The card just got away from me. Like all of a sudden, I was completely priced out. The Trae Prism.
Yeah, I mean,
surprisingly.
Selects, I think they're just fantastic. Trae Prism rookies up this week, surprising. Yeah, I think a lot of people may be taking that same strategy with Trae. I mean, a lot of people probably see the value there of what Trae and that young Hawks team is going to do. So it's you could be either way, but I don't think Trae's a bad purchase at any point because Trae is going to continue to put up Trae numbers, and that's going to garner a lot of attention from NBA fans.
Right. The other thing that I'm kind of into is, and I have to give credit where credit's due, Paulie B is doing a similar strategy, is looking for up-and-coming players, SGC 10s. Like it's a nicely graded card. It's not as expensive as the PSA 10s. So if you're going to invest in somebody, it's a good low entry point that's safe. I mean, I can't see SGC cards going down. I can see them only going up or kind of staying stable. So, a little bit safer, but then just trying to, find it, like you're saying, people aren't paying attention. You can move them.
I had a good conversation. My buddy just got back a massive bulk order from SGC, and we were on just FaceTime kind of looking through everything. And, thing I was telling him, I was like, you've got two possibilities with SGC is not only could the card prices come up, but SGC's value could also come up. Like you said, like you don't see them going anywhere but up.
Yeah.
The value of SGC is what it is at this point. And if you're buying, a SGC 10, you know what you're buying, and you're going to buy it cheaper than you would for PSA 10, certainly, probably like 30 to 50% less. But then you also need to think of compare that price to whatever the raw price is and understand the massive risks that come with buying raw cards off the internet, and understand that even if you want to send something to PSA 10, you maybe look for those 10s. Yeah, like Ziggy says, look for your 10s and then resub is probably much safer than buying a raw card and hoping to get a 10 out of it. And you're delta there, and there's risk because it's added money and there's risk reward. But yeah, even if you could send it to BGS and get a 9.5.
And there's also Ziggy said CGC is going to offer subgrades. Is it SGC or CGC? I assume he means SGC.
Well, there's the other grading, like the fourth tier grading company, which that's GMA. But then I think there's also I think there is a CGC.
You could tell when I was new, I bought a bunch of GMA cards, and I'll never do that again. But I actually have 2 GMAs I'm sending to KK to crack for me and submit to PSA.
Yeah, and that's that's a smart thing to do, because again, it's encased. Someone's at least looked at it once before. Yeah. It's buying raw cards off eBay is just so hard. It's so hard, and I really don't buy expensive raw cards. No, really ever. I really won't spend more than $20 on a raw card, because it's just you've been burned too many times. If didn't get a good look at a corner, and then the second you get it, you're like, all right, well, this is trash. And then I also don't like trying to resell those cards.
Yeah, no, I don't need that. I'll bundle them and stuff. No, I'm starting to buy less and less raw cards. Some of the soccer stuff, I'll be honest with you, I'm buying because I think it's very minimally handled. Like they're kind of new. And
if I can buy a big lot for relatively cheap, like I don't mind buying like 20 cards for like 40 or 50 bucks, because then it's like, at least if I can pull 3 or 4, it maybe is value, and it just is not all or nothing. But like, yeah, I'm never going to buy like a $300 raw Zion card. Like I'm just not going to do it.
No, absolutely not. I mean, even from a local card shop, maybe, but even the guy I deal with.
Yeah, if I can get my hands on it and check it, yeah, or from a friend or something, yeah, but it's just too tough on eBay to really decide. You can take an educated guess, but you just never know till it's in your hands.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get it. Like everyone says how controversial PSA has been when they're passed with their little scandals and whatnot, but yet people still see it as a flagship. Like it's still, for some reason, no one can dethrone them yet. I mean, Beckett makes a run at it. I don't really like the I like the Beckett case the least.
I like it the most.
Do you?
Yeah, I just like the feel of it. It's thicker, like the labels, like the subgrades, like the chance that you get a 10.
I do like the subgrades. I do.
I like the subgrades, like the chance to get a black label. I wish PSA would institute something similar to the black label. But it's hard to do at this point because you have so many in your system already. But I'm considering doing more with BGS than I have in the past, just because I do like the look, and I like the chance at the black label, and even the pristine 10 sells really well. But I used to hesitate buying BGS, and I certainly don't anymore. I've never bought an SGC. But I did send a submission to SGC. I sent Project 2020 cards, but I've heard from a friend who also sent them that they sent them back to him and said that they were too large. So I'm expecting not to get those back, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, I think both have their things. I think SGC has a ways to go, but they could certainly get there. And like back to your original point, you're baking in the value there. So I would rather buy an SGC 10 than a raw card.
That's why I sent my Juan Soto 2018, was it Heritage black refractor out of 69. I sent it to BGS because I wanted to go for there were no 10s. I wanted a 10, and I got all 9.5s except for a 9 on centering, which I can't do anything about. Right. And but I was really hoping, cross my fingers, and that was back in May. That was like Memorial Day. So it's been a while since then.
And a lot of the guys with the big money will send to BGS first. If it comes back at 9.5, they'll crack it and send it to PSA for the 10.
Really?
That's what the guys with a lot of money do. So they'll go for the black, and then they'll go for the 10 or the black, and if it comes back at 9.5, they'll crack send to PSA for the 10.
If you're talking thousands,
remember, if you crack, be a good person send your labels back to the company so they can take you off the pop report. You need to do that if you're cracking cards,
Oh,
because
look at that.
yeah. So if you're cracking a card, you're taking that card out of the population, but then it's bringing down the value of all the other cards. So you can send them like in an envelope back to the grading company, and they'll take them off the pop report. You literally just send them the label you cracked out of the case. It's like it's the good Samaritan thing to do, so we can keep pop reports accurate.
Accurate. That's a good point. That never would have crossed my mind, and I haven't done that yet. I mean, I'm only sending in a couple of GMAs, so I'm not too
But
worried.
like KK, like he might not do it for GMA, but I guarantee you KK and the Clay, I guarantee you they do it. I guarantee you they do it. Yeah.
That's good to know. It's good to know people like that in the hobby. It's true. Awesome. So yeah, so what am I out of this week? I don't know. I've been selling a lot more basketball cards. Like I have so many. Like I have a whole box of just graded basketball cards, and my other box is soccer, football, and baseball, and then 2 golf cards, right? Combined in one box versus basketball is its own thing. During the Last Dance, I bought a lot of Patrick Ewing. I bought a lot of Charles Barkley. I bought some Chris Bosh. I bought some of the Paul Pierce. I bought Paul Pierce prior to that. So a lot of my basketball cards are vintage, I guess, or older generation cards. But I still have a lot of the newer ones too. A lot of the newer ones are the SGC. So I'm kind of backing off on buying basketball unless it's like a deal that's just too good to be true. Like I did pick up a couple cards. I won't give it away because I'm trying to sell them. But I did get a couple for just a tremendous deal that I feel is half the value of the card, and I can make a 50% profit if I sell it. But even that I might hold because the cards are so new. But I'm definitely not buying more basketball right now. Anything big. I'm doing the lower, like the Kendrick Nuns. I'm finding the Bowls. I'm not buying Bowls right now. They're a little too expensive. But I'm trying to be more mindful of the whole basketball rookies landscape and those I'll call them level 3, level 4 players that can come out of nowhere. I think the bubble, there's so much spotlight on them that I think it's giving people a great opportunity, and that's where things like Star Stock and ComC, you could either buy some and flip, or you could buy some and hold, where you couldn't earlier. So, that's I'm kind of out of. Like I'm not chasing Zions, I'm not chasing Lukas, Jaws. Like I have a little bit of them. I'm happy with them. So I'm holding and selling the basketball right now. I think it's so high. I mean, if you go to Cargini Pro and look at the markets, like it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's smart. I mean, like you said, there's just so many eyes on it that it has to be with the way the market is right now. And I think it even probably encourages people to get into it. And I think the only bad thing about basketball is
skyrocketing right now. Baseball in the
crazy.
middle.
They're all going crazy. And I think football, even if they play football, goes even crazier.
Basketball still. I mean, basketball. Look at that little slump at the end, and it moved up. So,
right. My only concern about that in the hobby is people new getting in. It's so hard for them. Like if someone new wants,
it's terrible.
Yeah, if someone new wants to go buy some basketball cards at Target or Walmart, like zero chance, just absolutely zero chance, which I think is net bad for the hobby. I don't blame anyone for going and buying all those. I think it sucks because there's no really intro for those people. Whereas when I first got back in the hobby, I went and bought like Prism football megas at Target. And that kind of got me back going, like with the guaranteed autographs, it was like $50, but it was like I could go buy it if I wanted to. But if you were a basketball fan just getting into cards, seeing all this card hype, if you really don't know what to do, there's no way you can go get anything and just enjoy it. And that's to me like the biggest downside of like the the retail arbitrage that's been going on there. It makes it hard for new people to get in. To me, there almost needs to be a product worse than hoops that no one can resell, that people can just go buy and have fun. Maybe it's the stickers, but
score.
Like a new score. Yeah, score, like something that'll sit for basketball, just so people who are interested and want to get in can go rip it.
Yeah, actually, soccer stickers are coming up. They're hot, and they've been traded for years. So I'm starting to figure out soccer stickers. That's
World Cup stickers are a big deal. Yeah. The World Cup, the sticker books and everything. That's a big. I work for a soccer team, and then everyone in the office is doing sticker books every year. But those aren't hard to find. But there's other things like stickers they're tough. In terms of what I'm down on, it's similar to what we were just talking about. I for months there, and we talked about it a lot. I was hunting retail and looking for stuff in retail. and literally going to Target and Walmart almost every day, trying it at 8 a.m., trying it at 8 p.m., literally finding nothing.
Yeah.
And I've completely stopped. Like
I'm
I'm done. I'm just done because it's too much time. It's too much mental headspace for next to no reward. And I know there's some people who are good at this and find it, but it's just, it just wasn't good for my mental health. It wasn't good. There was just so much. I think I talked to you at one point. I was like 0 for 45 in terms of going. And I wasn't being dumb about it. I wasn't going at like 2 p.m. I was like waiting at the door at Walmart, and I was hitting like 5 Walmarts in a span. Like I was doing everything I could. And I just got to be too much to me. And I was like, I would rather just, if I want the product, I'll pay the resale and be totally fine with it if I can just stop having to run into Walmarts 80 times a week. Now, if I'm passing a Walmart or if I'm going into a Target to shop, I'm certainly checking the cart aisle. But I was literally going every day there for a while, and it was just bad. And I'm just done with it for the time being. And yeah, it's just tough. It's just a tough race.
Diamond Kings.
Yeah. Everyone bought it because it was the first thing they ever saw. And
nice, but yeah.
It was bad for me. And so I stopped doing that, and I've felt much better since. And again, if I decide I want a box of Mosaic, I'm just going to pay the price, and I'll probably save it on gas money.
So time you could that $20 is better suited. You could make 40 in your time. I totally agree.
Right.
One more comment, and then we're going to wrap up here. So Diego says, my first year collecting basketball, I got some hoops for all the hype and got my hands on some optic at retail, but to wake up so early, look for optics. Yeah. So, hey, congratulations, Diego. You got something, right? And you've beat half the people.
Yeah. Hoops was the only product I found at retail this year. I got like one fat pack. That was it.
Yeah. I was able to find Mosaic blasters on Target.com.
Target.com, yeah.
And
I tried there. I had the alert set, never got it.
I bought 5, and then I got them. I'm like, oh, I'll rip 2 and I'll sell 3 and whatever, right? And then I looked at how much they were. They were $65 a piece. I'm like, I think I'm going to sell 5.
Yeah, and that's the plus of finding it at retail is like, look, I hope people are finding a retail to rip some. If not, like, I'll buy it from you. Like, I have no qualms. I have no hate for anyone that does the resale stuff. I think every piece of the hobby has an important piece of it. Right. And, whether it be a breaker or a flipper, like if you think about it, it's a very complex economy, and it's all intertwined. So those people play an important role, and I'm happy to, like, I tell people on my Discord, I tell people on the stream, like, if you find X, I will buy it for X price. Like, it's probably going to be lower than what you'll get on eBay, but it's like, if you find it, and we have guys on just like, I've got like 40 boxes of Bowman Mega there that I got for probably $15 less than normal because it's a guy that I bought a bunch from. So it's just like, you just got to start making deals like that and figuring out. And it's like, it's tough. But then if you do find some, sell half of it and then rip the rest for free. Like no judgment on anyone. I think that's the smart thing to do. That's what any reasonable person would do if they came across it.
I just know how many Topps Series 1 and Donruss cards I have, and I'm like, I don't want to rip more cards. Like, I have so many cards, I can use the money, and then I can buy specifically the cards in that set that I want, right? So I did buy a lot of like 30 cards. Mercari is a great place to buy card lots, by the way.
And check that out. I really haven't dove into that at all.
You buy like a lot of like 30 cards, and there's going to be like 10 good ones, 10 okay ones, and 10's kind of like, yeah, they're part of the lot, and then one of them I bought and I kind of broke apart, and I found like I made like $5 or $10, and I'm like, well, that wasn't much fun. It was a lot of work to break them apart, figure them out, price them, sort them, take the pictures, put them on the Discords, put them on my Twitter. It was fun, and I kept a couple cards that I liked out of it, but it really wasn't that great. You'd have to buy tons of lots, and you have to really come across more.
You want to think about that, I think, when you're trying to flip stuff and stuff. It's like, is $10 worth whatever the time it'll take you
right
to acquire the card? Again, sort the card, ship the card, post it to eBay, ship it, drive it to the post office. And that's why, I try to focus on higher dollar items or items that I think, that's why I mentioned, like, I tend to hold, because it's like, it's worth, I'd rather hold it and sell it for 50 $100 profit than sell it for 10 in a month, just because it's just worth my time. And I also like to deal in lots that way as well. I'd rather buy lots. Like I generally try not to buy like a single PSA card, or especially not a single. I'd never buy a single raw card, but I try to buy lots of anything whenever I can, just so I don't have to spend the time bidding and getting in bid wars. Like I'll pay $10 over retail price. Like say it's a lot of like 10 PSA 10 cards that I want. I'll pay $10 over what all of them combined would be, just to save myself the time from having to go buy 10 individual auctions. Like that $10 in the span of that card's lifetime is probably minimal, and just save yourself the time and buy it in bulk. And it really will just clear up that mental space for you to go do other things.
You could probably sell a couple just to get them back too.
Yeah, for sure.
Good. Awesome. Well, listen, it's been way over the time that I thought we were going to do. We actually got through all the points we wanted to get through, which is awesome in itself.
That's good. So, I knew we'd never go 30 minutes, honestly.
You still drank enough coffee to make it through this whole podcast here and this video interview. Tell us a little bit more about, your breaks, how to reach you, the Discord, things like that. Go ahead.
Sure thing. First of all, I just want to say this little series you've started has been fantastic. I listen to it when I'm like sorting breaks and stuff, and it's just great to get perspective from different people from different backgrounds that are into different things. And that's just what you're doing is awesome. I think what you're doing as well is an example of like what a lot of other people can do, is just go create, just go make connections, create content. And it's a way that you can serve the community and the hobby. And so first of all, thank you for that. If you want to find my stuff, just Cahill Cards into any platform you're on. It's Cahill. It can be hard to spell. And then CahillCards.com. If you want to join a break, we do have break spots available for Tuesday night, 9:30 is when I break, every Tuesday night, 9:30 Eastern. We've got spots in Donruss Elite available for this week. Everything else is sold out, but a good time. And you always just swing by my YouTube at on Tuesdays at 9:30. We usually will go to about 2 or 3 a.m. So we're wide open all night. You can come in, try to get some break credit, buy some personals, do whatever, just hang out. So
tell us about
awesome.
The first card contest you do.
So every break we do, out of the first pack, the first card on top of the first pack, I give everyone a chance to guess who that player is. And if you hit it, you get $20 break credit. And and then if I sell out an entire night, like if Donruss Elite sells out before Tuesday, we'll do continual. So every break that credit will build until someone hits it. So one night we had a guy hit $100 break credit, which is awesome. So, and I've given out, we had someone hit last week on basketball. I think we've had someone hit on just about every week. So yeah, just a cool way to come in and just make a guess in front of each break. Good way for you to stay involved, even if you're not breaking. So that's the Donruss Elite I'm trying to fill. 28 spots left in that. Random teams, 3 boxes, so 300 cards. And I think there's two autos per box in that as well. So 6 hits. Should be a fun one. So 4 spots have been taken, but we still have 28 left. Website, I take all their payments. I think I can take PayPal, Apple Pay, direct credit card, any of that stuff. It's all legit through the website. And then I'll ship all the cards. I've got three boxes of stuff I got to label up after this podcast, and then it'll go out to USPS in the morning. So right to your front door.
Awesome. Well, Ed, thanks so much. This has been great. I actually learned a few things talking to you more now than I had the past few months. So again, thanks for taking the time. And, I've got a list of people that I'm lining up. I know Ziggy and I have talked over TikTok and stuff. We're going to try to
Ziggy would be great.
Talk to him, because I got to find out, how do you muster the energy to do a daily, 8 to 10 minute thing. I've been trying to do about every 5 days, do a podcast. So I'll use these. I'll just burn the audio off of this, make a podcast out of it. I'm looking at things like repurpose.io to do some, so I could do one thing and then spray it in 5 different mediums.
Yeah, that's the smartest thing you can do, is just, you got to maximize your time, especially when you got a job and responsibilities. Like it's tough. I wish I could do 1,000% more than I do. That's always like my constant internal struggle, but you're doing a great job, man. Just keep it up. You do way more content than I do. And I appreciate it. It gives me something to watch.
So are you. Appreciate it. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening and watching. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, all the things that you're always told to do, all the good things. Same with Ed. Go out there and give him some love. He's got the YouTube channel. He's on all the same social medias. Do you have a link tree?
Yeah, I got a link tree. It's on my TikTok and on my Twitter, I think. So that'll take you everywhere.
Excellent. So it's probably linktree./Cahill Cards, I'd imagine.
Yep, that's it.
Very good. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks everyone. Thank you, Ed, so much for taking time to do this. We learned a lot about you and your involvement in the hobby. So really appreciate it. And everyone else, thanks again. Have a great night. So long.